first coming closer and getting louder and louder, and then fading away. In the woods where he had spent his early life, the wolf pup had never seen or heard huge highway trucks, so he was unfamiliar with the noise they made as they thundered by. Each time the noise frightened him, he got down on his belly when the loud noise came closer and grew louder, and did not get back up on his feet until the noise had faded away. With each wolf in its own cage, the pup was apart from his mother, father, and brothers. To the wolf pup, the container was closed in and dark, something like the den he had known when he was very young. But in this much bigger den, he couldn't get close to the other members of his family. Even though they were nearby and he could smell them, he couldn't press up against his mother or playfully nip at his father. The wolf pup was hungry, and he was tired. He'd tried sleeping, but except for a few short naps, that had been almost impossible. He wished that all of this would end, and that he could get back to the world and the life he was used to. And then, all at once, it did end. The moving and the bouncing stopped. The pup felt a lot better when he was finally let out of his cage and allowed to join his family. They were together again, and that part was good. But they were in a strange place, a place he had never been before. It looked different. It smelled different. All of it was different. The feel of the coarse grass, where it poked through the snow, the bushes, even the trees, none of it was the same. The low clouds made this new place feel somehow smaller and not at all friendly. As he looked at this new world around him, he was confused and frightened. The wolf pup looked at his brothers. Though they were bigger, they appeared to be as worried and nervous as he was. He moved closer to his mother, hoping that she would somehow let him know that whatever was happening to them was okay, that he didn't need to be afraid. But although she didn't show any of the fear he was feeling, the pup sensed that all of this was new to her, too. In fact, both his mother and his father seemed nervous and unsure. There were things the wolf pup didn't know, things he couldn't know. He didn't know, for example, that he and his family were part of something called the Yellowstone Wolf Reintroduction Project. He didn't know that they were among 14 wolves, 3 families or packs, and 1 lone male that had been captured in Canada to be moved to the United States. The 6 wolves that made up the pup's family were not released into the wild, at least not right away. Instead, they had been placed in an acclimation pen, a large fenced enclosure that allowed no possibility of escape. This was partly because wolves have a homing instinct, and if they'd simply been turned loose, they would have headed north, back toward Canada. But the pen was also there to keep them safe. They wouldn't have to face the dangers and challenges of their new surroundings right away. The wolf pup also didn't know that for almost 70 years there had been no wolves in Yellowstone National Park. The last wolves in the park had been shot and killed in 1926 by park rangers, at a time when humans didn't understand or trust wolves and wanted them gone. And from that time until now, in 1995, in this part of the world, they had been gone. But in recent years, the National Park Service realized that eliminating the wolves had been a terrible mistake. Wolves had been part of this land for thousands of years before Yellowstone National Park even existed. Their carefully planned extinction from their homeland was more than unfortunate, it was tragic, and now government decision-makers wanted to right that wrong. With the reintroduction plan, that was happening. Not everyone was happy to see the wolves return. There were those who would stop at nothing to get rid of the new arrivals. Ranchers who lived near Yellowstone were worried that the wolves would range outside the park's boundaries and attack their livestock. In fact, there had been death threats made against the wolves. Because of those threats, park rangers guarded and protected the packs during the 10 weeks they were in their acclimation enclosures. Those rangers patrolled around the clock, often in deep snow and freezing conditions, to ensure that no harm came to the newcomers. And none did. But maybe the most important thing the wolf pup didn't know was that he now had a name. To the people who had captured him, and to those who would watch and study him in his new home, he was known as Wolf 8. His father was Wolf 4.